If you send me the link, I'll...
Yeah, sure.
When you're ready, you tell me, then we can start.
We can start.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Send the link
Om
from
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Right, so after a long break, we are back. We are on chapter 15 of the 7th Canto, Instructions for Civilized Human Beings. This is the last chapter in the 7th Canto. It mainly focuses on the householder
Mhm.
and how they can become detached. The chapter describes all the rules for the householders, and then it ends with a summary at the end.
Mhm.
In the previous chapter, we talked about brahmana, and in this chapter, the different types of brahmanas are discussed. Mainly, a brahmana has a grihastha brahmana,
Mhm.
then a brahmachari brahmana, and then a sannyas brahmana.
Mhm.
So this is what they will be discussing.
Mhm.
Generally, a householder brahmana is more like engaged in karma, so it's like a vipra. And then the sannyas brahmana, they're more into jnana yoga and maybe bhakti yoga also. Whereas the um, brahmachari brahmana, he's fixed in the same thing, teachings and studying. Whereas the one who's like retired vanaprastha, he's practicing austerity. All right, text 1 then. Sri Narada Vacha
Srinarada Vacha
Karma Nishta Dvija Kechi
Karmanishta Dvijakechi
Tapo Nishta Nirpapare
Taponishta Nipavare
Swadhyaye Anye Pravachani
Svajaya Anya Prachani
Kechana Jnana Yoga Yo
Kechana Jnana Yoga 7th Canto 15th chapter.
Translation. Narada Muni continued, my dear king, some brahmanas are very much attached to fruitive activities, some are attached to austerities and penances, and still others study the Vedic literature, whereas some, although very few, cultivate knowledge and practice different yogas, especially bhakti yoga. So, what you need to understand is in the verse, the nishta is used, which means they are fixed. And in every phrase, the nishta is used. Basically, what it's trying to say is that the jnana yoga, one who practices jnana yoga, he is superior to the one who is studying, and he is superior to one who is just doing karma, like that. Okay.
Mhm.
Text 2. Jnananistaya deyani
Jnananistaya Deyani
kavyani anantyamichata
Kavyani Anatyam Vichata
daivicha tat abhavesya
Daivestrata Abhasya
sarebhyo yatharhataha.
Tarebhyo Yathartha
A person desiring liberation for his forefathers or himself should give charity to a brahmana who adheres to impersonal monism, jnana nishta. In the absence of such an advanced brahmana, charity may be given to a brahmana addicted to fruitive activities, karma, kanda. So Prabhupada says two processes to get free from bondage or material bondage. One is Jnana Kanda, and then the other one is Karma Kanda. And of course, you have the higher one, which is Upasana Kanda. But we are not interested in all this. For us, it's mainly bhakti. We're more interested in bhakti yoga. Uh, Bhakti yoga means what? We want to have a relationship with Krishna, Supreme Lord, and we want to make sure that we can cultivate that realistically. Yeah? Mostly, even when we as devotees, we take up these processes, uh, we don't think of actually establishing a relationship with Krishna. We just do it as a chore. But it's important to understand that we want to cultivate this relationship, or you can say a connection with Krishna. Whereas here in this verse, it's talking about people who worry about their forefathers or about themselves also. They want to be liberated from karma. Like
Bondage.
that. And particularly, the verse talks about impersonalism. So it means that people who are very much without the proper understanding. Right. So either they will do this offerings for the pitras or pitras, or to the demigods. They will do that. That's what this jnana kanda, karma kanda activities is all about. So he will do that, hoping to achieve liberation, okay, or for his ancestors, like that. Now, if the householders want liberation, the whole idea here is they should serve the sannyasis. That's what it is. But those who are pursuing bhakti, for them, they are not interested in this. They are not interested. They don't perform such some activities just for karma's sake. You know? So there's a difference like that. So therefore, if you want to do charity, it has to be done to someone who's very advanced. Now, sometimes even impersonalists, sannyas are very advanced, but they are impersonalists. And then sometimes you find a bhakti yoga practitioner may not be as advanced. But it's still better to serve one who is a devotee. Better to give someone who is a devotee in charity. So therefore, when Prabhupada says when Vaishnavas distribute charity, they do not need to find a brahmana performing the activities of jnana or karma kanda. Okay. And the example he gives is how Advaita Acharya, when he did the Shraddha ceremony, he gives the first thing to Haridas Thakur. Even though he was from a Mohammedan family. Yeah. So therefore we have to understand it's not so much as their position as whether they are doing devotional service and how advanced these personalities are. So then this is this verse from the 6th canto that is quoted. Muktanam abhisiddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma kotisapi mahamuni. O great sage, among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayana or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare. Prashantatma, very peaceful. Now, there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita also that is very similar. And do you know that? No, not Brahma Bhuta.
Which one? What it is?
Oh,
Apichet Sudara.
No, this
No.
verse.
Which what was the context?
yeah, 647.
No, this. No, not
This
this.
is Muktanam. This is this for
No, there's.
Manusyanam Sahasresham.
Manushanam Sahasresham.
Manasyanam Sahasresham.
Kaschid yatati siddhaya, yatataanapi siddham,
Visiddhanam.
kaschid mam ved tattva.
That is one. There's another one, which is even closer,
Oh.
but not so much like liberated, but it's very similar. Bahunam.
Janmana jnanamana prapadyate, vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma
So
sadurlabha.
it's the same thing. Jnani, once he understands the position of Krishna, then he'll surrender. Such a devotee is
Very rare.
very rare. Sudurlabha. So same thing. Sudurlabha prasanta. Right? Yeah. So what we understand from here and what Advaita Acharya is showing us is that a devotee is always superior. Okay? They are always in a superior position than a jnani. So sometimes you have to be very careful how we assess practicing devotees also. We have to see how committed they are into serving Krishna. So we can see by a person's actions, external activities also, not simply just talking some philosophy, quoting some verses, because you can go outside, right? You can see so many people are expert in all these pandal programs. You can see so many people, they are not devotees and they give so many nice kathas and so on. So we have to be very aware of that is not the. And oftentimes we get very mesmerized by the way they present, and
Yeah.
we think that's so nice.
That is we think they are devotees because of their
Synonymous to
presentation.
devotion.
Yeah, right.
But actually that's not
The
the
opposite.
case. Yeah, it's opposite. So that's why Prabhupada always says milk touched by the lips of snake should be avoided.
It's very bad to hear them. I remember I heard one person in Dubai long back.
Yeah.
He was speaking Mayavad philosophy. Still, it's in my mind.
Yeah.
30 years back he spoke, 25 years back. Still, I remember what he was saying.
What he said. So they said they shouldn't hear because
bad,
it's
yeah.
so powerful. Yeah. So even if someone is not a devotee, you can still give them charity. I mean, if he's not a brahmana, you can still give him charity if he's a devotee. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so because devotee is always superior. As long as one is a devotee and if you feel that you can get, you can serve them, that is acceptable. Like that. Yeah. So Prabhupada also writes in the next paragraph, it's very interesting. In this regard, it may be mentioned that brahmanas in Vrindavan, who are karma kandis and jnana kandis, sometimes decline to accept invitations to our temple because our temple is known as the Angareji temple or Anglican temple. But in accordance with the evidence given in the Shastra and the example set by Advaita Acharya, we give prasad to devotees regardless of whether they come from India, Europe or America. Right? So what is the conclusion? Instead of feeding many Jnana Kandi or Karma Kandi Brahmanas, better to feed a pure Vaishnava, regardless of where he comes from. So we have to be very cautious about this. Right? Yeah. And why Prabhupada says that is because he clarifies it with this verse, Apichet Sudaracha. Because anyone outside of India is considered to be fallen. And pretty much outside of India, people don't follow any culture and so. So therefore, they may be committing abominable activities. And so sometimes due to those conditioning, even after they become devotees, they may accidentally do such activities. So we shouldn't be so harsh with such person, because they are still properly situated. That's the main idea. So if that is the case, then we shouldn't worry whether he or she is born in a Brahman family or not. If they are devoted to Krishna, then we should accept them. Okay, that's how Srila Prabhupada also pushed this movement through the service of all his American disciples. Obviously, for someone who cannot accept a Vaishnava, we recommend them to worship the deities first. So they can purify, and then they can see who's a devotee and who's not a devotee. Basically, it's Kanistha, the Adhikaris will always say, oh, he is not Brahman, they are not Brahman. So then they should just go to the temple and worship the deities first until they become sufficiently purified to see a devotee properly. Yeah. Right? So, okay. Text 3. Dvau daive pitrikarye trin ekaekam ubayatra va bodhayesu samridopi shadde kuryana vistaram. During the period for offering oblations to the demigods, one should invite only 2 brahmanas. And while offering oblations to the forefathers, one may invite 3 brahmanas. Or in either case, only 1 brahmana will suffice. Even though one is very opulent, he should not endeavor to invite more brahmanas or make various expensive arrangements on those occasions. So again, Prabhupada uses the example of Advaita Acharya inviting Haridas Thakur only, because he wanted to show this pure Vaishnava is enough. I don't need any brahmanas like that. It is not necessary, the Lord says, that one become very expert in Vedic knowledge before he can become my bhakta or devotee. Name bhaktas chaturvedi, mad bhakta swapacha priya. This is important for all of us, because how, some of us, we think we need to memorize the whole Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. It's not possible for many of us. 90% of us, we are we don't have that intelligence, but the best way for us to do is serve a devotee nicely, serve a spiritual master, serve the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada nicely. Automatically all this will come. Right or not? Yes.
There's different things Prabhupada says about Shraddha. So do we have to follow?
Shraddha for us, the only thing we do Shraddha is we offer prasadam to the forefathers.
On the specific days?
Yes, if you want to do it, yeah.
Should we do it?
If you feel you have to do it. Generally, if you are surrendered to the Krishna conscious activities, then automatically it's taken care of. But if you are not so committed, then it's best advised that you offer prasadam to your forefathers. So yeah, go ahead and offer. Nothing wrong. Right? Yeah. Yeah, so again, the same emphasis Prabhupada says. You don't have to be in a Brahmin family. Even if you are from a family of dog eaters, but you take out the process, you should be recognized and be treated as a devotee, as his devotee. Because all devotees are very dear to Krishna. Krishna doesn't see what birth you are from. It doesn't look like that. So you can see how he treats Vidura as opposed to Duryodhana, right? When he came, they invited, both of them invited, but he only took Viduda's invitation. Not because for him, devotion is more. Krishna devotees are more dear to him. So similarly, if you want to please Krishna, you have to treat his devotees nicely. So therefore he says, my devotees should be offered like that. And if you're offering a devotee, the devotee is naturally going to use whatever he gets to service of Krishna also. So therefore, he will accept it. Krishna will ultimately accept your service that way. So of course, we should find out who is a good devotee and who is just practicing or not a good devotee. In a society of devotees, everyone is glorious, but there are categories also. So we have to see who is a first-class devotee, and then we have to serve them nicely. Here Prabhupada says, one should invite a first-class brahmana or Vaishnava, a realized soul, and feed him while observing the Shraddha ceremony to offer oblations to one's forefathers. So yes, if you want to, then you should invite, but not more than 3 brahmanas.
or one also.
One is enough. But of course, in the devotees will invite all the devotees and people.
But try to find the pure devotees.
Therefore, you invite the whole village because you do not know who is a pure devotee.
That's also a big debate topic, no? To find the pure devotee among so many ISKCON devotees.
As I said earlier, our role is not to find out who is there. Our role is to serve. Yeah. So when you serve nicely, so you don't worry about all those things. Yeah. Because what is your criteria to say who's a pure devotee?
That's what people should know who's pure and who's not.
Yes, the criteria is there in the scripture, but are you qualified enough to use the criteria to say who's pure?
I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. So when you understand that you can't judge a person, then don't worry about it. One time Srila Prabhupada was asked, right, how many pure devotees are in ISKCON? He said all of them.
They're on the path.
Yeah. Because as long as you follow nicely, then you're on the path of pure devotional service. So you are a pure devotee in that sense. Yeah. Anyway, if you have done some sincere activities for Krishna, you're guaranteed to go back to Godhead, but it's a question of time.
Number of lifetimes.
Or lifetimes. Because if you have done sincerely, Krishna will never forget. So he will look after you. But sometimes we take up the process and not follow through. So then Krishna will wait for you to turn around.
He'll drag you, say one of the time. He'll drag you down the line.
Yes, I did mention that.
That's not going to be pleasurable.
Yeah, Krishna will, if he feels that you're not doing it properly, then he'll personally come and drag you. And then you go through difficulties, disease and so on.
That's so.
Yeah, death can come anytime. I just got a text. My godbrother yesterday, he had a massive heart attack, double heart attack. So they took him to hospital, and an hour ago he left his body. Yeah, he did nice service. Very sincerely. Yeah. But you see, it can just happen, just like that, boom. Yeah. And then 2 weeks ago, another devotee they were all old devotees, but they also left the body. Yeah. But the other devotee, he knew he was dying, so he had like a couple of months, then he left his body. But then it can happen like that, suddenly, bang. So therefore, you should arrange to feed the brahmanas. All brahmanas. All devotees, actually. Alright, Desha Kala Kalochita Shraddha
Desha Kalochita Shraddha
Dravya Patra Hananicha Samyak Bhavanti Naitani Starat Swajanarpana. If one arranges to feed many brahmanas or relatives during the Shraddha ceremony, there will be discrepancies in the time, place, respectability, and ingredients, the person to be worshipped, and the method of offering worship. So it becomes difficult. So Prabhupada quotes from Narada Muni that we shouldn't do unnecessarily. This is the key word. And in fact, Narada Muni has prohibited. That means it should be a simple ceremony. Okay? Unnecessarily gorgeous arrangements to feed relatives of brahmanas during the Shraddha ceremony. Simple. Not call everyone have a pizza at a party. It's not like that. It's meant to, everyone should feel gravity should be there, and then not so materially opulent.
Why this is only for the Shraddha ceremony? This could be even a regular ceremony also. We may not make regular proper arrangements, proper ways of worshipping.
Yeah, it could be also for normal thing also. Yeah. But this discussion is about, from the beginning,
The context.
it's about one who is worshipping forefathers. Yeah.
Yeah, but many, I think, customs have that. In our day, on the 13th day, we invite all the family members and we do that. I don't know, they don't offer to Vishnu first and give to. So it's not Mahaprasadam, it's just like food.
Yeah, but in
The concept is to offer to
Vedic
Vishnu.
culture, it should be offered to Narayana first, Vishnu or Krishna, then you offer. But over the generation, it's just changed, you know. So even in some parts of India, they kill goats and feed meat to on Shraddha ceremony. And then there are people who dress up, the paid criers, they call them.
Yeah.
Then they go there and cry, and then they get all this Shraddha meat and they eat, and it's a lot of papa there and karma they're taking. So anyway, the whole idea is during Shraddha ceremony, you should be very careful. Yeah. That it should be simple. Huh? So Prabhupada also says, Indians spend, especially lavishly, on 3 occasions: at the birth of a child, at marriage, and while observing the Shraddha ceremony. But you can invite a lot of people for birth and marriage, but not for Shraddha. Not to show off. Okay, it's according to the Shastra. Don't make a big deal out of that. But when a Vaishnava passes away, we are happy. So that's a different thing. Yeah. But for normal situation, we should not do this like that. Right? The reason is, if you do this elaborately, then the respect to the forefathers is not there. You are more concerned with your lavish ceremony. So therefore, the Shraddha ceremony, the focus should be the forefather, rather than look how good I am, you know, how much money I have. So that is the reason why you should be taper it down. But of course, if it's Vaishnavas, we glorify Krishna and the devotees, so that's okay. Yeah, that's all. So time, place, circumstances, very important. Text 5. Deshikale cha samprapte
Deshikale cha samprapte
Niyandam hari daivatam
Niyandam hari daivatam
Shraddhaya vidivat patre
Shraddhaya vidivat patre
Naistam kama duk akshayam.
Naistam kama dukakshayam.
When one gets the opportunity of a suitable, auspicious time and place, one should, with love, offer food prepared with ghee to the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then offer the prasad to a suitable person, a Vaishnava or Brahmana. This will be the cause of everlasting prosperity. Okay. Muni Annam. That means it's a food that is gained by proper means. So it should be first offered to Haridev or Vishnu or Krishna. Then it is given to the Pitris. then it should be given to the suitable qualified Vaishnava or Brahman. Okay, so that's how it is done. That's the system, and this is the scripture injunction. So we should follow accordingly. Okay, text 6. Devarishi Pitri Bhutebhya Atmane Swajanaya Cha
Atmane Swajanaya Cha
Annam Samvibhajan Pasyet
Annam Samvibhajan Pasyet
Sarvam Tat Purushatmakam.
Sarvam Tat Purushatmakam.
One should offer prasad to the demigods, the saintly persons, one's forefathers, the people in general, one's family members, one's relatives, and one's friends, seeing them all as devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's also a rule how to offer. Okay. So that's one way. When in general, when people come to the temple, you see them as guests of the deities. So they are so naturally, if you see them as guests of deities, you're seeing them as devotees of Krishna also. So therefore, it's very important. And the other point that is important for us to know is that we should always be ready to offer or distribute prasadam. Okay. And one should never offer meat, eggs, fish in Shraddha ceremony.
Yeah.
And one should never eat such things also. Rather here you can see the Lord is pleased when you're, Muni Anna. That means Muni usually lives in a forest. So things gathered in the forest. So he's pleased when you are offering forest offerings and not animals killed like that. So a lot of people don't have, or through the generations or many centuries, the Vedic culture has been watered down. So you find many times people do that. No? And then, as Prabhupada says, they invite people, all these poor people, and they call them Daridara Narayana. So here he says Daridara Narayana Seva. So, but all this terminology is coming from impersonalist Mayavadi concepts. Who was that?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Not Mahatma.
No,
What is it?
Vivekananda.
Vivekananda. Yeah.
Oh, this one is.
Yeah, Vivekananda. Daridara Narayana. Or rather, his guru Ramakrishna. He's the one who did this. But that's nonsense,
Harijana is the word by Mahatma Gandhi.
Everyone is Harijana, not just only the poor people.
Harijan is devotee.
So even
Harijan would mean the devotee of the Lord.
yes,
Or
yeah.
so that's
But
why
I don't think he said it in that way.
and he was talking about the poor.
Political. Yeah. So one of the interesting things is, even if you feed anyone, it should be prasad. Prasad means patram, pushpam, palam, toyam. So it must be on that principle. Vegetarian food, milk food, like that. So you can offer that. So that's another reason why Srila Prabhupada wanted like food for life. Right? One time where was it? Mayapur, right? I think it was a festival and he went out on the balcony and then he saw where they throw all the leaves plate. So then some lady with the children fighting with dogs over the throne. And Prabhupada started to feel great sorrow and he told his servants, 10 miles you should feed. And he at that time he said just do it on the weekends. And then they asked him, why only weekend? Then Prabhupada said you can do every day if you want. But at least weekends should do because a lot of time they come looking for food. So that's why you can see Srila Prabhupada always emphasize food, prasadam, Sunday feast, cook nicely, not just. If you cook nicely, then even people who can eat will respect what you are doing in the temple. Otherwise, they will think there's these people just some Even if you make khichdi, it should taste so nice. Shouldn't just make a show. So it's very important. And then Prabhupada says, distribute sumptuous prasad. Okay. Sumptuous. Well, it's nice. Put thought into it, prepare the menu, right? And then cook nicely. Get nice, good devotees who cook nicely, like that. Right. So then, of course, the other part Srila Prabhupada says is we shouldn't think we are the same as Narayana. We are part and parcel of Narayana, but we are not Narayana. So one shouldn't mistakenly think that because one is related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has become the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. It's dangerous. Then why? Because they imagine, Mayavadis imagine a form they don't accept as God because they think they are God. So whenever they read about avatar and all, they don't accept those things. So they are, as Mahaprabhu says, Mayavadi Bashya Sunile Aya Sarvanasha. If you associate with them, you will go to hell like that. Destroyed, Nasha. Your devotional life is destroyed. So therefore, like you said, you heard so many years ago, still you can remember. So how powerful it is. So be very, very careful. Text 7. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Nadadyad amisham shradhe na chadya dharma tatvade muni annai syatpara pritri yatana pashuhingsaya. A person fully aware of religious principles should never offer anything like meat, eggs or fish in the Shraddha ceremony, and even if one is a Kshatriya, he himself should not eat such things. When suitable food prepared with ghee is offered to saintly persons, the function is pleasing to the forefathers and the Supreme Lord, who are never pleased when animals are killed in the name of sacrifice. Very clear. So we should always tell people that it's in the scripture. You shouldn't do such things. It's sinful actually. And not only that, their own forefathers will curse them. Instead of getting some blessings, they will curse them. So we have to be very, very careful. Alright, is this theme about killing animals. Naitadrisha parodharmo nirnam saddharma michyatam nyasudandasya bhuteshu manovakaya jasya. Persons who want to advance in superior religion advise to give up all envy of other living entities, whether in relationship to the body, words or mind. There's no religion superior to this, meaning they shouldn't cause violence to all living beings. Envy means if you kill someone, also it's envy, based on envy. If you get angry with somebody, it's also envy. If you shout angrily at somebody, it's envy. If you think bad about people in your mind, it's all envy. So that's what it is. So if you want to make advancement, according to this verse, you should give up this kind of enviousness to anyone, all living entities. And if you practice that, then you become a better person. Basically, you cultivate more of goodness. You wish people well, you wish them, you pray for them, then you are a devotee, right? You pray for someone's welfare, you are a devotee. You want them to go back to God, you are a devotee. But if you don't like them and then you cultivate such thoughts, it becomes enviousness. And then you cannot develop Krishna consciousness. Okay. So dandasya, give up the envy or violence. Dandasya, causing trouble. So give up this violence. So we should not, even sometimes we are inconvenienced by some insects, right? And then we like ants coming in, so we spray and stuff. That is also envy. So all this should be, somehow we should give up. Or keep the place clean so it doesn't cause problems for you.
Killing animals and here Prabhupada is putting it to envy. It's really difficult to connect these two.
Yeah, you
Dandasya
kill
is the word. Killing means giving trouble is the word.
Dandasya.
He didn't use that word, giving trouble in the translation.
No, but that's how it should be understood, no? Because you're giving trouble actually to other living entities. When you're envious of someone, you will give trouble to them. So either the violence is so great you kill them, or the violence is such that you shout at people, or you hit them. So that's why it says body, words, or mind. So there's no religion superior to this. So we should understand like that. How it's like this, like for example, you're going to temple to do somebody kind of shouts at you, and then you're like, what did I do? So that's violence to you. So that is envy. The person did not understand he or she is going to do service and making their mind disturbed. That's envy. Because you don't want to see them in a peaceful situation. All this constitutes envy at different scales.
So can we say envy is like hurting someone?
It depends, yeah. You hurt someone, when you hurt someone, it's part of an enviousness towards them.
So probably if like mosquitoes bite us, then
Well, Prabhupada said, when they bite, then you can kill them. So don't let them bite. You put a tent, net or tent, net. Yeah. But just because one mosquito bite you, you go all over the world killing all the mosquitoes is envy. What is the case? What is the story in the Bhagavatam?
Parshuram.
No?
Dhruva Maharaj killing the
Yeah.
one
Dhruva
Rakshas.
Maharaj.
Very good.
Yeah.
Dhruva Maharaj killing the Yakshas.
Rakshas.
Yeah? Just because some of them killed his brother. That's one. What's the other one?
Even Prahlad Maharaj.
Huh?
Prahlad Maharaj.
No. The last Takshaka.
Daksha.
Takshaka.
Oh yeah, all the snakes.
Janamejaya.
Janamejaya.
Right?
Yeah.
Janamejaya then wants to kill all the snakes.
All the snakes.
Or rather, he didn't care. So then he was again instructed, this is enviousness. You're not at that level, so you shouldn't be thinking like that. Then they realize, yes, that's envy. So they stop. Yeah. So in the same way, we should cultivate such that when we realize this is wrong, we should stop. Because then we cultivate goodness rather than all these tamasic qualities. Right? Text 9. Ekrikarmamayan yagnan Yanino yagna vittamaha Atma samyamane aniha Juvati jnanati pite. Because of an awakening of spiritual knowledge, those who are intelligent in regard to sacrifice, who are actually aware of religious principles, and who are free from material desires, control the self in the fire of spiritual knowledge or knowledge of the absolute truth. They may give up the process of ritualistic ceremonies. So this can only happen, the way Prabhupada translates is very nice. Because you say, because of an awakening of spiritual knowledge, then you will function within this description or translation. Otherwise, if you are still stuck in the karma kanda, then you will not do these things properly. Right? That means if you understand you don't do this, then you give up such sacrifices, animal sacrifice, all those kind of things like that. So basically, when you're on a higher level, you reject external activities. Those who have no material desires, they offer, or they have material desires, they offer all these karma kanda things. But if they have no material desires, they offer the karma or the activities in their mind, or they give up the activities altogether. Okay? Karma mayam. They give it up. So Prabhupada says those who are interested in karma kanda ritual ceremonies for elevation to higher planetary systems. But when one awakens his spiritual knowledge, he becomes uninterested. Why they become uninterested? Why?
Because they're cultivating knowledge about the absolute truth.
And why should they give up?
It's temporary.
They realize
They want to get
it is
out of
ultimately
cycle
giving
about
frustration.
it, so-
Because it's temporary. So they realize that's higher knowledge there. There's a temporary.
This is same as the Bhagavad Gita 6.1. Right?
Yes.
Non-irrignairna chakriya. Sannyasi who doesn't like no fire.
Right now, fire. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. And that means he becomes uninterested for temporary things. Basically, that's what it is. So when we talk about higher purpose in life, if one doesn't have the knowledge of Krishna or going back to Godhead, what is the purpose in life for most people?
Heavenly planet.
Heavenly planets, that's about it. Yeah, enjoying heavenly planets. Yeah. So therefore they pursue karma kanda very strongly. It's only when they start understanding something, then they become jnana yogis. They then want to know the existence of a spiritual entity, and if they don't have a devotee guiding them, they will start to think they are God themselves. Like they end up, Prabhupada says, last snare of Maya. Yeah. So usually when they take up jnana yoga or jnana process, they are thinking of, as Prabhupada says, to stop the miseries of birth, death, like that. But they're not even thinking of going back to Godhead. But when they are exposed to bhakti, then they think, yes, I will go back to Godhead. So that's how you see one who's higher than the other one. If he wants to go back to a permanent eternal realm, then he is higher than one who just simply wants to be elevated to heavenly planets. Text 10. Dravya yagna yakshamanam drisva bhutani bibyate Deshama karuno hanyat atajño hi asutrip dhruvam. Upon seeing the person engage in performing the sacrifice, animals meant to be sacrificed are extremely afraid, thinking this merciless performer of sacrifices, being ignorant of the purpose of sacrifice and being most satisfied by killing others, will surely kill us. This according to Shastra, this is the animals think they can understand. And in fact, many times when in the slaughter, those abattoirs or whatever, the animals cry when they are taking them. And that's why they don't have any pictures. They don't let anyone come and take pictures also. So you have all those people in the, those groups,
Yeah.
the vegan society and all those animal rights, they go and take those pictures. You see, animals are all crying because they can hear their own friends, relatives, things. They all cry like that. And it's very harsh the way they kill also. So Prabhupada quotes Jesus Christ. He says when Christ was 12 years old, he saw the Jews sacrificing birds and animals, and he became very shocked. And so he rejected and started Christianity, which Prabhupada says is adhering to the Old Testament, thou shalt not. Yeah, so you find mostly the modern day Christians, they'll say they follow the New Testament. That means they just have to accept Christ.
Thou shalt not murder.
Yeah, they change that also, but they don't. Their argument is as long as they accept Christ, it's good enough. Yeah. Thou shalt not kill. Yeah. So slaughtering animals either for religion or for food is most abominable and is condemned herein. So it's interesting. The animals are watching. They may not be able to talk, but they can think, and they are thinking, this person is going to kill me. You know. And it's interesting also because the animals, they themselves understand that they are not doing a correct sacrifice.
That is surprising.
Yeah. So they can feel it.
Super smooth.
Yeah. They can feel it that this person is not killing
Ignorant.
me for a proper sacrifice.
Purpose.
If it's proper sacrifice, the animals are not feeling the fear. But here they are feeling so much fearfulness because they are killing for the wrong purpose. Yeah. And they also, in a sense, they are cursing the person who's going to kill them. Yeah. Because it is said that once the person kills the animal, in the next life, the animal has to come and kill them. And basically, in the Vedic tradition, if you want to eat animals, you do it on a Amavasya. You go out and you slaughter under the dark moon in front of Kali.
Chant mantras.
And you have to chant the mantra, telling, I'm going to offer you, please forgive me. And then the animal, you have to say, I'm going to kill you. The next life you can
You
kill.
get the opportunity to
You're supposed to say those things, then kill. So intelligent person will understand, why am I saying that he has to come back to kill me? So then they refrain from that. So unless one is merciless, one cannot sacrifice animals either in the name of religion or for food. Okay, very important. Text 11. Tasma daivo papannena
Tasmadaivo papannena
muniyannena pi dharmave
niyamnenapi dharmave
santusto haraha kuryan
samshohara
nityanaimitiki kriyaha.
nityanaimitiki kriya.
Therefore, day by day, one who is actually aware of religious principles and is not heinously envious of poor animals should happily perform daily sacrifices and those for certain occasions with whatever food is available easily by the grace of the Lord. Heinously envious of poor animals. Another reason why it's enviousness is because all animal form or all living entity has a fixed life in their body according to their karma. So if you kill them unnecessarily, then they are forced to come back again to finish their karma. So therefore you are not allowing them to progress. That's another reason why you are envious. Okay. So we should be very, very careful. even when we kill any animals or cockroach or whatever. So one who is very cruel, like in the previous verse, they will kill these animals. You have to have a hard heart to kill another living entity. Okay, and when we start killing, our heart becomes so hard we cannot understand who is the source of the creator. Right? We do not know who is the creator of all the other living entities. So we get more and more into the mode of ignorance. So here it is said that santustaha, that means one should happily perform things that are not involved in killing animals. But if he kills, but he does some violence to animals, he cannot be happy. So that's another reason why Srila Prabhupada says if you do a lot of animal slaughter, after a while there will be
Reactions.
ugra karma, reactions, in the form of
Like
Disasters and
war. Generally, your own children will go to war
oh really? And then they die.
and they get slaughtered in the war. Like that. So one shouldn't commit such violence to the poor animals, as it's stated here. So whatever sacrifice you do is the food that is available, easily available, then you offer it to the Lord. Like that. Now the other point is dharma vid. This time Prabhupada wants to emphasize the religious principles. What is our religious principles? That is for this age is
Nama
Nama Sankirtan, but that's only the definition. If you expand it, what does it mean?
love of
Huh?
Krishna Prema.
That's all like ISKCON answers. Right? What is our religious principle? Huh?
Chanting the holy name.
Four principles, chanting holy names, and the most important thing. Huh?
Worshipping the Lord.
No, distributing.
Distributing
Preaching. Yeah, book distribution. It's most important. That's our religious principle. For us, we have to preach. Whatever your situation is, you have to preach. Whichever way you can. Now, Christmas is coming next week. No?
Yeah.
So you all should give every worker in your office some deluxe Bhagavad Gita edition as a gift. Tell them you're not there to convert them, but to help them understand how to become a better person.
Better Christian.
Better. You can't say that. That's an insult. Yeah.
So they say I'm a Christian. Then become a better Christian.
You have to be careful of how you deal with people nowadays. They don't have the ability to understand good ways anymore. You can say you become a better person. Good values are taught. It's applicable to all. It's not sectarian. So if you talk like that, they can accept those things.
Can it fight back saying you were distributing religious books within
But
company?
that's not. You're giving a gift, Christmas spirit. So why you say it's religious? Yeah. Right? You can say, you give them your vegetarian cookbooks if you are afraid to give Bhagavad Gita. But I wouldn't be. Right? So don't feel that way. So religious, actual purpose of religion is defined as dharma vid. He understands. So we should all understand our roles, why we are practicing also, right? why you're chanting, why take initiation, all those things. It has to have a meaning to your performing this religious activities. Otherwise, why then even read all these things? Don't bother. Go back to where you came from. Like that. So when we understand that, and then Prabhupada says, becoming Krishna conscious, Sarva Dharma, that means whatever else you're thinking is important in your life, right? Don't put emphasis on that. It has to be connected to Krishna. Then it becomes religious. If there's no link with Krishna, then it's meaningless. It's like you have zero. Zero is always zero, but Krishna is the only one now, number one. So if you put Krishna in the front, it makes value. So that's his point. So when you reach that stage, then you are doing archana properly. That's real archana. That's the performing. You worship. How do you worship Krishna in this age? Yeah, it means you go out and preach also. Sankirtan is some kirtan, some yak. Some means complete. So you're connecting with Krishna completely. So completely doesn't just mean japa or just chanting. That's not it. Not congregational chanting also. It means you go out, share the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, you give devotional literature, you give prasad, and you talk about Krishna. Then it's complete. Yeah. So you should see where your purpose is in this movement like that. Then the Bhagavatam makes sense. Otherwise, it's just another jnana, as we were reading earlier on. Then it's the pursuit of knowledge. The knowledge has to make sense in our practice of Krishna consciousness. Right? So that's important. So then you are doing properly the archana. Anyone, whether a grihastha, Prabhupada says, or a sannyas, can keep small deities of the Lord suitably packed or, if possible, installed, and thus worship the deities of Radha Krishna, Sita Rama, Lakshmi, Narayana, Lord Jagannath, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by offering food prepared in ghee and then offering the sanctified prasad to the forefathers, demigods, and other living entities as a matter of routine daily work. I mean, daily you should do. Now, Prabhupada says in the Prabhupada, but he has also emphasized very carefully that if you have installed deities, then you should offer them proper service, full service actually. That means you get up for Mangalarti, you change the outfit, you bathe them. Yeah, he says that. There's many sections. He even says to one disciple who wrote to Prabhupada and said, I have deity. Then he said, then you come to the temple and you learn the full archana process and then you go home and do it. Otherwise, why are you doing it? He says, come to the temple and do the service. And then he also says one has to be very careful. If you have deities installed at home, then you have to be very, very careful. Cleanliness. He emphasizes cleanliness. Like that. So, very important. Huh? Okay. And then the other thing, food must be cooked in ghee. Heart attack. No, that's okay. Ghee is good. Actually, ghee is rasayana. You know what rasayana means? Life-giving. When people say you take ghee, you'll get a heart attack. That's because maybe you do not know how to cook properly.
We don't get pure ghee.
Okay, you can say that, but still we should offer like that. So if you don't get pure ghee, then what are you using? Oil?
No, even the scientists agree that ghee is good.
Yeah, some will agree, and then another paper will be written and say it's not. So it all depends on the capitalism. All right, then he says, then you can offer it to others, including forefathers, demigods, other living entities. Right. So of course he says in all our centers we cook nicely and offer to the deities and to people. And he says, first class brahmanas and Vaishnavas. So that means, what does it mean? It means we must become first class brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Each of you should go back and see how you can become first class brahmana or Vaishnava. What are the practices you are lacking? How can you improve? Things like this you should contemplate on a daily basis. This world will go on, whether you are doing this activity or other activity, the world will continue to go the direction it's going to go in Kali Yuga. The question is, how much are you willing to help it change? Right? Mahaprabhu wanted us to help. So you have to see, what is my role in this? So this is sacrifice. By offering things to Shri Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is also sacrifice. Because we are saying, you deserve it more than we do, and we will only take the remnants. So when you cook in the morning, you should always think, my dear Lord, I am not advanced enough to think I'm cooking for you. I am actually very fallen, but still, I want to learn how to love you. So I'm cooking. You kindly accept this. And then after that, I'll take, because I am not at that stage where I can just freely just cook for you. It's a fact. So you have to convincingly speak like that. Then you will also understand, as you say that prayers, you'll understand I am actually very fallen. Otherwise, your ego will say you are okay, you're doing okay. You're following, you're chanting 16 rounds, you're going to the temple, you're okay. But it's not okay. So therefore, there's no question at all of killing animals, Prabhupada says. In case people think we can kill animals. Right? There will be some people in the future or even now thinking we should do animal sacrifice. Right? They'll say, we are qualified brahmanas, we can do. Right? They will talk. But Prabhupada has made this sentence, should not. Okay. Vidharma paradharmascha abhasa upamachala adharma shaka panchema dharmanya dharmavat tyaje. There are 5 branches of irreligion, appropriately known as irreligion, vidharma, religious principles for which one is unfit, paradharma, pretentious religion, abhasa, analogical religion, upadharma, and cheating religion, chala dharma. One who is aware of real religious life must abandon these 5 as irreligious. Okay. So what in the second verse in the first canto? Dharma that means all cheating religions should be kicked. So all these are cheating religions. But specifically here it's described cheating religion as chala dharma. So what is these principles that are not accepted? Any religious principles opposed to the principle of surrendering to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, are to be considered religious principles of irregularity or cheating. And one who is actually interested in religion must give them up. Okay? So to discuss with people, we have to show them that what they are practicing may not be helping them or they are cheating themselves. Rather than saying they are wrong and we are right. No. By our practice or by quoting from Shastra, you have to show them that actually they are not practicing any religion. Yeah? Because of course, ultimately we follow what Krishna says. He says, Sarva dharmam parityaja, mamekam sharanam vraja. We should give up whatever and just follow what Krishna says. That's what he's saying.
Prabhuji,
But to do this, Prabhupada says you need good intelligence. Yeah,
can we discuss examples of each, like a religion?
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
What is good intelligence means? Again, we started the class by quoting this verse, Bhavanam Janavana. That means, yeah, so it takes many, many lifetimes before one comes to understand Krishna. So just like many of us have taken this process, but when did we start? We do not know. Or our uptake of this Krishna consciousness is through the blessings of devotees. It could be that. Okay. So Shraddha takes many millions of lifetimes. You may have many billions of lifetimes ago, you may have seen a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, and you must have, paid obeisance. And simply by doing that, a little bit of the Lord is pleased that you did. Shraddha.
Sukrit.
Yeah, but it's not. This is, you can say, not punya and that kind of sukriti. It is Krishna sukriti. So later on, you go to the temple, and then someone says it's good to worship, you pray. So a little bit more. It can take many lifetimes until it comes to a point where you actually want to take up the process. So that's Shraddha. At that moment, you have your faith. But to build that up may take millions of lifetimes. So therefore, one has to have good association. That good association purifies us very quickly. Sadhu Sangha is very important. So when it purifies our thinking processes also. That's intelligence. That's one way. The second way is reading Prabhupada's books. Definitely, if you read Prabhupada's book, your intelligence gets purified. That's the best way to purify. So then you get good intelligence. So you don't have to go many lifetimes. So what is your plan or program in your life to read Prabhupada's books? How often do you read Prabhupada's books? Right?
It is daily.
Huh?
Devotion reads daily. I'm not reading.
You're not reading, yeah. So that means your faith will go, if you're not reading. I'm not joking. You will not develop strong faith. It will always be wavering.
And then Slokas and Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Shraddha Suddha Vishwas Kaile, Sudhra Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Kaile, Sarvakarma Kaile. That's a strong faith. Right?
Yeah.
You already read it.
I know that.
Just saying.
No, actually.
So otherwise, your faith is like the waves, tarangini. The waves going up and down, up and down. Sometimes you are like, hey, let's do this, then no, like that. Okay, so this is what I wanted to ask you about good intelligence. Now vidharma means forbidden activity. And one is doing it, and he's thinking it is
Religion.
dharma.
Vidharma would be like
Killing animals for
Bhagavad
sacrifice.
Gita, Vikarma.
Vikarma, you can say like this.
That is Ugrakarma.
Now, some people will do another person's duties and activities. Oh, I can do this. Never mind, I'll cover for you like that. That's called paradharma.
That's also forbidden. Right?
That's also forbidden.
Answer that one.
And Krishna
One
says
has to
that you cannot do
practice
that.
also.
Even if you can do another person's duty very well, still it's sinful. So, upadharma means it's not dharma,
Religion.
but it looks like dharma. Externally it seems like they are doing some religious activity, but it is not. They may be cleaning the house, doing all this activity, but they may not be doing a religious activity like that. So it's called upadharma. something that resembles dharma, but it is not dharma. Generally, it is somebody Nityacharas,
Yeah.
pretenders. So that is upadharma. They pretend to do something, but they are not really doing. So they may dress up as a sadhu, right? And then they may work in the morning. At night time, they will dress up as sadhu and go house to house programs and take money. So these are all upadharma, dress up dharma. And then they say they are upholding religious principles. Okay. And then the last one, cheating religion, chala dharma, is there are people who will read the scriptures, but they will explain it in a different way,
Materialist.
in their own way. They will never talk about Krishna or anything, surrender, and they will just talk whatever they want.
All the cheating gurus. Right?
They are cheating fools. So people, they come to ISKCON, we say follow for religious principle, they don't want. So they go to someone who say you don't need to follow, you just follow me, you'll be happy. Or you go to some guru, you give them $400 and they'll give you some mantra. That's all cheating.
I was reading this. I went to an event where there's this brochure about Amma and Sri Krishna Jayanti, time to elevate your inner vibrations. No mention of Krishna.
Yeah.
See Krishna.
And then, she gave description of all the times. Like Ram Navami is again to elevate your vibrations and meditate your inner feeling. There's no mention of Rama or Krishna. And then she will give mantras on 3 sheets. It's all there in her brochure actually. She'll give mantras on 3 sheets, and then you can sponsor. So they don't say how much it is. You can sponsor this to improve your
All these
inner
are
meditation. So they're charging to write the mantra on a piece of paper. So she will write it and give it, and you have to give a check, like $400, $500.
Yeah.
Give a check.
They're all cheating. So that is explained in the next verse.
So it looks like it is dharma, but
It's not. It's just capitalism in a religious garb. Text 13. Dharma bhado vidharmasya
Dharmabhado vidharmasya
paradharmonya choditaha
paradharmonya chodita
padharmastu pakando
upadharmastu pakando
dambhava shabda vichala.
dambhova shabda vichala.
Religious principles that obstruct one from following his own religion are called vidharma. Religious principles introduced by others are called paradharma. A new type of religion created by one who is falsely proud and who opposes the principles of the Vedas is called upadharma. An interpretation by one's jugglery of words is called chala dharma. So mostly nowadays it's chala dharma. And they follow all kinds of systems, nonsense they do, right? And they have no scripture, and they have no sampradaya. So when you find out if their sampradaya is not coming from Lord Shiva, Narayana, Lakshmi Devi, or the Kumaras, then it is not. You should not accept. You should just keep quiet and smile and get out from there.
Even in bona fide sampradayas, they talk Mayavad philosophy. There was something supposed to be.
This is all contaminated.
They don't know what is the.
Because there's no strong, powerful acharyas to make sure it's pure. They like the Catholics, right? They were following strictly. Now they are watering down their own principles. So because they want to become popular. For the sake of popularity, right? They introduce and they say, "Oh, it's okay now. You can." They were saying the priests shouldn't get married. Now they've passed a law in the Catholic thing that the priests can all be married.
because they
And
could
then
not
they also
control
say
all
again,
this
yeah.
molestation.
But they cannot control the fact that they're all falling down and stuff like that. And then another one is gays.
Gay marriage.
Gay marriage is allowed stuff. So it's all, upadharma. They just change it. Or they go against the principles of religion. Yeah. Of course, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. That is very important because real religious principles are enunciated by the Lord Himself. We cannot create our own religion. So that must be for us to know these principles first. Otherwise, someone can say something, and if you're not well read, then you will think they are speaking the truth. Yeah. But that is not. But if you understand the principles properly, then when you practice it, then you find that the individual will become completely satisfied. Savaipum paroda. Otherwise, you'll never be satisfied. When you do that, you will attain what? Loving devotional service to the Lord. And you will do it without any ulterior motive. The only motive is to please the Lord, like that. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada quotes that. It leads one to become a devotee of Supreme Lord. Because why? You feel so happy doing that process. You become satisfied. Yayatma suprasida is fulfilling, satisfied. Therefore, anything opposed to this religious system of progressive Krishna consciousness is called Vidharma, Paradharma, Upadharma, or Chala Dharma. Misinterpretation of Bhagavad Gita is Chala Dharma. So now you know how many people are misinterpreting. Papa likes to say this. In the Bhagavad Gita lectures, I think the first few lectures, if you hear, Srila Prabhupada will scold all these people as rascals. Rascals say this, rascals will say that. In the early days, Srila Prabhupada uses quite a lot. Right? They read the Bhagavad Gita and they come up with their own definition. He says they're rascal. So here he also says rascal interprets it to mean something different. And then finally he gives an instruction for devotees. One should be extremely careful to avoid these various types of cheating systems of religion. Right? So as devotees, we should be very careful. Because if we are not following properly and reading Prabhupada's books on a daily basis, you will be easily cheated. You will be cheated.
Especially when we go on Sankirtan, all these different theories come out. People are trying to tell us what they follow.
Which is why you should know Prabhupada's book, then you will know exactly where they are talking. Otherwise, you also get confused. Right? Text 14. Yastu ichaya krita pumbir
Yastvarichaya krita pumbir
abaso hi ashramad prita
Avasho hi ashramatkrita
swabhava vihito dharmaha
Svabhava vihito dharmaha
Kashyanista prashantaye.
Kashyanishta prashantaye.
A pretentious religious system manufactured by one who willfully neglects the prescribed duties of his order of life is called abhasa, a dim reflection of false similarity. But if one performs the prescribed duties for his particular ashram or varna, why are they not sufficient to mitigate all material distresses? So abhasa is creating some form of, according to your imagination. Okay.
It's Nama Abhasa. Is that a different meaning?
That's the
Same.
That's different. Shadow, that's different. Namabhas. But here is like they create an imaginary way of worshipping. Yeah, like that. It may seem like they are worshipping properly, but so basically you should follow very strictly what is given to each varna and ashram. Okay. And for us, we don't have to change anything. Srila Prabhupada has already given us, even for the next 10,000 years. So one cannot argue and say, Prabhupada doesn't know what I'm going through now. I know, he already knows our situation. For example, even as Prabhupada says here, even in Varnashram, that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Devi Varnashram. That means Krishna is the center. Otherwise, they will just follow their own Varnashram, according to their own rules. They'll say, no, you don't have to do this, you do that, like that. So again, Prabhupada says, it has now become fashionable for any rascal or fool to be elected God. So they concoct some idea and they say they are God, which is like Mayavad philosophy. Or they say you can worship any God. Okay? In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that one who worships the demigods has lost his intelligence. Nonetheless, we find that even an illiterate person who has lost all intelligence is elected God. And although he has a temple, it has meat-eating sannyasis and many polluted activities go on there. So it means it's really, really degraded. And people are misguiding all the innocent public and so on. Sometimes you'll find some of these people may have some potency. Because of the austerity they do, they have some teja, so to speak, some power. And or they're very oratorical, or they have some little bit power to produce some ashes or some pomegranate or something like that. And so they can attract the general population. But they have no scriptural knowledge at all, nothing at all. And yet because of their charismatic way, others are attracted to them. The more reason why we should be able to know our own scriptures properly. What Prabhupada has written, we should know. We should know nicely. We are not saying you should know by memory. We are saying at least you should know the philosophy properly. So that you can at least question a person who says he or she is God. Like that.
So one person who I gave Prabhupada's books, later on he came and said he heard some Vimalananda or somebody, one of those Mayavadi gurus from IIT Chennai or something like that. So, but he's a very good speaker. After he told, I also went and listened to him. What he says is all Mayavad, 100%, but very charismatic speaker. Somehow, why are they able to be so charismatic?
Like I said, you may have the karma, or you may have from previous life some abilities. That doesn't mean
beautiful speaker. Of course,
matter.
total Mayavad.
Yeah.
If I had not known Prabhupada, that would be very impressive.
Yeah. One devotee recently sent me a video of this Mayavad singing the Bhagavad Gita in English, but according to the meter in English.
According to meter?
The meters, right?
Oh.
Right? Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, right? So he says religion in the same way. In Kurukshetra, like that. He's singing like that. So that, but then Prabhupada already said, right? Lips touched by a snake. Milk touched by the lips of a snake is poisonous. So it doesn't matter how charismatic it is. What goes in is negativity. And it's not paradharma. So we should be very careful. So they have this potency. We should never cheat. Even devotees who have charismatic way of speaking should be careful. We don't want to cheat our own devotees. We shouldn't sell ourselves. We should sell Krishna.
And isn't it Prabhu who want to be cheated will be cheated?
Will be cheated. And they will know they have been cheated and they cannot do anything.
Sadly, it's happening in ISKCON also. Sorry to say that.
It is already happening in ISKCON.
I don't want to say names, but
Yeah, but you will see Krishna
will
will
find out eventually.
Yeah, they will find out because Krishna is kind. He will let them understand they are making mistakes. And then you can see, if we do not follow Prabhupada's teachings properly, then we will end up having meat-eating sannyasis, meat-eating devotees. Eventually all will come back. Nonsense.
Is he talking about this, the Buddhist eat meat, right?
Not only Buddhists,
Everybody.
everybody, right? Vivekananda group, everyone
There are
does.
many of them, apart from the
Yes. He's actually talking about them. Ramakrishna Mission.
Oh, yeah.
And many polluted activities go on there. I mean, they don't follow any rules or regulations.
Yeah, I went to this high school where we were representing Prabhupada. The Ramakrishnas came from Seattle.
Right.
No rules. Here I'm saying no meat eating, no gambling. And they're like, you don't have to do anything. Hinduism is very open religion. You don't have to do anything.
You should say, we are not Hindu.
No, of course, I never say I'm Hindu Vedic. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see why even Prabhupada rejected the word Hindu. Huh? Because it's a hodgepodge.
Misinterpreted.
It's Chala Dharma.
Chala.
So then you can see Prabhupada says, if you follow the system he has, you can be happy without any extra endeavor. Right? So abhava vihito dharma kasya nesta prashantaye. Real aim of life is to mitigate distress, and one can do this very easily by following the principles of Shastra. Whatever Prabhupada has told us is we are following the Shastra. Okay, so just following any dharma you create will not relieve you from distress. What is the first thing in the pure devotional service?
Yeah.
I know. Klesha.
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 Klesha. First symptom.
First. And then after that is Shubha. That means distress. It should relieve you of distress. When you take up this process properly, you will feel relieved of distress. Okay. So that is the real aim of religious practices or Shastra. Text 15. Dharmartam api neheta.
Dharmartamapi neheta.
Yathartam vadanodhanam.
Yathartham vadanodhanam.
Anihaniha manasya.
Anihanimanasya.
Mahareva vritidita.
Mahareva vrittida.
Even if a man is poor, he should not endeavor to improve his economic condition just to maintain his body and soul together or to become a famous religionist. Just as a great python, although lying in one place, not endeavoring for its livelihood, gets the food it needs to maintain body and soul, one who is desireless also obtains his livelihood without endeavor. Okay? Basically, a poor person should not desire money for maintaining his body. Or he should not even strive for wealth. Because you should understand, actually we should understand our karma also plays a role in life situations. So sometimes you can try, an intelligent person should understand, I've tried, I'm not getting what I'm trying. Only in Karma Mimamsa philosophy, they say if you work hard, you'll get the result, which is our capitalist society. But that is not true. If you are not going to get it, you're not going to get it. So you try, you work hard, and you see, so then you don't waste time, which is what this verse is about. You should not endeavor to improve your economic condition. Once you know that's all you're going to get. Be satisfied. That means don't go, if you can rent a house for $1,000, then be happy with it. Don't go and rent one that's $3,000 and borrow money. Okay. So don't endeavor for it. You should not strive for wealth. So when he doesn't do that, then he becomes peaceful automatically. Because he understands this is all I'm going to have. So thank you, Krishna. He becomes grateful. But if you pursue, then you cannot be grateful to the Lord. You are thinking, Lord, why are you not giving me? So then you go against the whole philosophy of trying to become satisfied. and peaceful. Yes.
Is this sign of surrender, or is this for anyone, not even a devotional person?
Yeah, not even just should learn to be satisfied.
No, but the Bhagavad Gita says, right, one cannot even maintain one's body without work. So seems like it's contradictory
No.
to what they say. Right?
Yeah, but still, here it says improve his economic condition.
It is about improving.
Yeah,
That
you
is
already
fundamental.
have sufficiency, but you want to make it better.
Improving.
Yeah. Okay. Over endeavoring.
Oh,
It's not rejecting work. It is
Yeah.
about
It's not exactly true. Yeah, it is not exactly.
okay.
Rejecting endeavor.
Yes,
over
yes.
endeavor. Over endeavor.
Over endeavor.
Pratyahara.
There's no reason to. That's the whole point. Is there's no reason for you to pursue something else. So, as you were saying, you have to come to that conclusion. It doesn't matter. It's not only for devotees, and everyone should be like that. Remember, the whole varnashram system is meant to push everyone to the mode of goodness. So then, unless you're satisfied, you cannot traverse that path. Not possible. So the whole varna and ashram, everyone is helping each other to move upwards. You serve one another, move upwards. If you're going to, everyone is pursuing wealth, then how to help one another? Can't. Then you become envious. Yeah. So then the example that is given here about the python is because the python, it just doesn't go looking for food. It just sticks around its area and then the food comes. And then it catches it like that. So what is the point is that if you do what is necessary for you, Krishna will arrange for your livelihood. So you don't have to over endeavor for it. Right? Somehow or other the animals getting their food. How is that possible, right?
This is like surrender to material nature.
Not
Isn't
material
it
nature.
Isn't it not surrender to Krishna? At least should be surrender to nature. Isn't that true?
Necessary.
Huh?
It's not like that.
It's not like that. You're not material nature. It's that you become satisfied with what you have. That means even if you believe in karma and so on, you be satisfied with what you have. First learn to be satisfied with what you have. Later on, as you become, see when you do that, you come to the mode of goodness. Then it's easier to understand the nature of God, religious principles and all this makes more sense.
People saying that even if you don't work, but if you try to spread the Krishna consciousness movement, you'll be provided.
That is a different thing. Yes, yes. If
So
you preach also, then again, but she's saying if he's not a devotee, then how?
So one devotee in Seattle about 7 or 8 years ago, he kind of stopped working and all that. His family was in anxiety. So this is other extreme maybe.
Maybe, but
But
was
that's
the
not
family
really-
maintained?
By other people, but after a lot of struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
So
were not in very
artificially,
good shape.
okay. Then if everyone is not happy, then it's not the action is not good because the whole idea is parodharma. When you do, yayatma suprasida.
There is satisfaction.
Everyone should be peaceful in that act. Yeah. But if everyone gets disturbed, then something is wrong. That means the person may not be ready to do such activities. Then the community or the authority should tell him, wait, take it easy first. Like that. That's how you help one another.
Maybe because of the past karma, things didn't work out for him, even though he was trying.
But again, this should be sanctioned by authorities. To simply give up your duties is not something you can do, whimsically. It should be approved by senior Vaishnavas and so on. And if everyone says, yeah, go ahead, then the sanction is there, then it is okay. Then it's acceptable. But on your own, you come to the conclusion, I've tried and I will quit my job, temple should feed me and my family. No, not like that. It's more like you're abdicating your duties.
So one of the devotee, he relocated just to make a living, and then his family got destroyed. Son did something to himself and passed away, and later on the wife passed away. Although he was a good devotee, but he had to go out of town to earn a livelihood. So how do we understand that?
We can't understand everything, but at least you have to see if they followed all the rules and regulations properly or not, according to scriptures, if they had guidance from their spiritual master and so on. If you can tick all those boxes, then you have to accept that is how Krishna wanted it. You cannot just say, oh, he suffered, therefore that is wrong, there is no Krishna consciousness. No, sometimes even a great devotee will get into a road accident and die. Does it mean that he was not a great devotee? No, you cannot come to such conclusion. Maybe at that moment Krishna says, no, I want him out. The fastest way. I want to take him back. Right? Just like Vrikasura, right? Vritasura. Right? Chitraketu. He became a demon. So someone will say, why Krishna has to make him a demon first? Right? Same thing. Yeah. So we have to see and appreciate the situation properly. Yeah. So he or she was a good devotee, but due to circumstances, maybe Krishna wanted them to go through that way so that they can go back to Godhead quickly. From external point of view, it may seem they are suffering, but maybe they are going back. So again, there are a few things you have to see: how they are performing their devotional service, how much they were surrendered to Krishna, their guru, and the service attitude. Unless you know the heart of a devotee, you cannot judge the devotee. Right?
Which is difficult to know.
Yeah, so therefore, we should just say, Krishna understands that better than me. I will not speculate. It's easy to speculate.
It is easy to get disturbed
Yeah.
also, seeing situations around us.
So therefore, you ask senior devotees and say what to do in this situation. When such an incident happens, then we should read the scriptures and try to get some meaning from such advanced personalities. Yeah. Because I feel that many of the answers already Srila Prabhupada has already mentioned in the purports. Just that we haven't
Gone through everything.
we don't remember.
That is a bigger problem.
So the main idea among all this situation, as Narada Muni says, Tasaiva hetu prayateta kovidaha. That means endeavor should be to increase your Krishna consciousness. So therefore, whoever it is, whatever they're going through, you have to see these principles. Are they always endeavoring to increase their Krishna consciousness? And if it's yes, and they're suffering, then it's not suffering, it's something else. Okay, it's Krishna knows what he's doing. Like that. And therefore, he gives example of the great Madhavendra Puri, would never go to anyone to ask for food. We all hungry, one meal also we can't miss. But Madhavendra Puri would go to the marketplace and sit down and fast the whole day and eat the clay pot as his meal. Right? You remember the story? Yeah. Huh? Yeah, Shirshor Gopinath. Yeah. So he would never ask for food. Sukadeva Goswami has also said, Kasmat bhajanti kavayo dana durma dandan. Why should one approach a person who's blind with wealth? Rather, one should depend on Krishna and he will give everything. That is surrender actually. And it's not easy if we don't practice properly. Right? For most of us, our practice is very superficial. Yeah. The idea behind this is that we have to become very realistic in our practice. So daily you have to ask yourself, how much closer are you to Krishna?
I feel disappointed every time.
So then you know where you are. Then you have to do something about it.
Yeah, it's tough.
It
So
is.
when you say do something, what do you mean to do? What to do?
See, then you should approach a devotee who's happy in his Krishna consciousness, he or she. Then ask them what is it that they are doing. How can you serve them? Because our whole idea is by serving other devotee, their grace will come to us. So then you ask them, can I serve you?
Or follow Guru's
Follow,
instructions.
and follow your Guru's. Sometimes even your Guru will give you instruction you don't know how to follow, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So you serve a devotee who can bless you, and then you can make the advancement. It's the easiest way. So that is what it means by depend on Krishna. So you depend on Krishna means you depend on his devotees also. Krishna anukulana shilanam, right? Anything connected to Krishna is also Krishna in one sense. Yeah? So then Prabhupada says, all the members of Krishna consciousness movement, whether they are grihastas or sannyasis, all of you should try to spread the Krishna consciousness movement with determination. And Krishna will supply all necessities. See, he's saying so emphatically. Because Prabhupada himself was like that. Even though he was a grihasta, he would daily go out and preach as much as he could. After work, he'll come back and he'll chant, he'll do his worship, and then he'll go out with the sannyasis and preach. So you should try. If you cannot go out, at least call someone you want to preach to, encourage them, read a book over the phone, discuss the points, see how we can help improve, Okay, this is the month of, Advent of Bhagavad Gita, Gita Jayanti. So what are we doing to please Krishna? He spoke 5,000 years ago. So like that, you can help each other taste Krishna consciousness. So when you help someone else, immediately you'll feel the satisfaction and the happiness, right? It is like that. I was just flying here. I was chanting I got the window seat, so I was chanting. So a man sat next to. Thankfully, no one sat in between. So it's a big guy. He sat on the other side. So I was just chanting, and then I had samosas. And as I was chanting, I was thinking, somehow or other, I should connect this guy, with Krishna. So, but then I said, should I stop chanting or give him, or should I finish chanting? Because I know if I do it, then there will be a conversation. So anyway, I decided to chant. And then as soon as I finished, I took out the samosa, I gave it to him. And the man looked and he grabbed it. Then he ate it. And he said, this is so good. This is so wonderful. So then he's
Indian body or
no, he's American. Texan, so a big guy. But he said, this is so amazing. I've never eaten anything like this. I said, it's samosas. He said, samosa. I like the chili and everything inside. Anyway, so I was thinking he had taken Krishna Prasad. So we should something he got connected. But I felt happy. That's what I was trying to say.
I miss the samosas.
Huh?
We miss the samosas.
Yeah.
you felt unhappy.
You feel separation. You don't feel unhappy.
Returning to the restaurant, either the Houston or the Dallas one restaurant.
Kalachanji. Radha Kala.
I don't know which city are you from.
Oh, from Govinda's in Houston.
Houston or Dallas.
Yeah. We have so many Westerners coming now. It's
Houston, there were not when I came.
Oh, you came. Yeah.
There's so many who are coming for lunch.
Yeah. And they really liked us. Even when the vegan society, they were against us for milk and so on. All the vegans who came eating there told them to go away. So they protected us. So you can see how good it is when you preach according to their level.
I was in San Diego and one of the Iraqi taxi driver was taking me, Uber driver. I said, would you like to come to where I'm going? I'm going to a temple now. He said, why not? So he came in, the brahmachari gave him prashadam,
Mm.
he took a book, he took darshan, everything happened in one shot.
Exactly.
He never said no.
Yeah.
Iraqi, Muslim guy.
Mm.
Then I gave him the mantra card, asked him to chant, he chanted. Everything in one day, all in a matter of half an hour.
Yeah, who knows, right? That's a mercy comes. Yeah.
So that's why I always ask Uber driver, would you like to come where I'm going? One Somalian Muslim guy came to our temple here.
Mm-hmm.
And he even gave $5 donation to Bhagavad Gita.
Mm.
Muslim guy.
Yeah.
So Muslims are not bad if you approach them properly.
Different categories.
Yeah, different categories. So towards the end, which is what Srila Prabhupada wants us to put into our heart, even though one may be very poor, he should simply try to advance in Krishna consciousness and not endeavor to earn his livelihood. Okay, so the key word is endeavor in the right way. Okay, not for material things, but for spiritual things. You have choices, and the choice you should use properly. That's what it is all about.
Srila Prabhupada is very convinced that if you just do proper Krishna consciousness,
You will, you
will
will.
be protected.
Krishna will take care of
provided
you.
that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
very convinced that.
Yeah.
I've read it many times in this.
yeah. He will, definitely he will. I'm not sure, you must have all experienced something, you know.
Yeah, I experienced that.
He will take care of you. You
I was
don't-
going in Miami.
Yeah.
I was between two different 16-wheelers,
Mm-mm-mm.
trucks. One driver did not take a look. He was put an indicator and suddenly started coming into my lane. I was not accelerating. The car accelerated by itself and I cleared both trucks. I was supposed to be sandwiched between two trucks, but I was alive.
Mm.
Because I was going to the temple,
Yeah.
not to a bar.
Mm.
So I'm alive still.
Yeah. So Krishna will take care of us. We must, as in the beginning, as I said, the Shraddha, you have to always nurture it. And then nurture with good association. The best association is Srila Prabhupada. So listen to his classes, read his books,
Audio lectures.
audio lectures. They have the new, this gadget now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very
again,
nice.
it's
device.
very nice and you can all listen. So then
I can get more.
you can get
I'm just alive.
So,
Radhananda has some.
alright, so we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you for
15
coming.
verses.
Jai.
So for tomorrow,
Tomorrow is
it's Thursday.
oh yeah Thursday. What is the? We can talk now. What is the?
Tomorrow we have Mara's class. Right?
So we're going to do class here.
We can have something early, like until 7:30.
You
6:30 to
How early
7:30.
they said
6
it.
to 7:30.
You go to office. How early you want to do that? Even 7 o'clock is too early. 7:30 is what after. But come from office
Can you not do it on
On the phone.
conference Zoom?
then you want to see him in person. That
Yeah,
will-
Then you come and take darshan.
You can-
That is lotus feet.
Yeah, you're this side. I'm.
Who wants to go there? Go there. Who wants to come here? Come here.
No, I think it's not proper. So they have either you convince Maharaj to say we take a break.
Hmm?
Yeah, you talk to him. We'll take a break from now until
No, no, yeah.
January.
6 to 7:30 करेंगे
That's
ना?
for temple pro. That's for everyone. So we should not
Yeah,
write
so
it.
that
Who
cannot be
wants to
stopped.
Let them go.
Yeah, so then we should take a break tomorrow. Yeah.
Who will be doing the thing?
6 to has come all the way. 6 to 7.
So why not do 6:30, 7:30? If anybody can come, who all can come?
I can come.
I can do that. So if we can hear online until then, we can do something. Here 1 hour.
Yeah.
You guys decide.
So we'll have at
Yes,
6:30 to